Are you an investor looking for premium market opportunities? Presenting premium and exclusive service for investors by Kalkine.
Welcome to another edition of Expert Talks by Kalkine TV. I'm Sage, your host, and I'm so excited to bring you today's guest. He's the COO and co-founder of Blossom.team, AJ Alkasmi. And did you know that most people spend close to 33% of their lives working? Blossom has taken on the mission to revolutionise working by redefining professional development through a science-backed and analyticals-driven coaching app. So here to tell us about how they're upending existing coaching paradigms by combining medical grade, science, advanced analytics and proprietary tech to gain results in productivity, communication, leadership development in all professional dimensions is the co-founder and CEO of Blossom, AJ Alkasmi. Welcome to the show, AJ.
Hi, how are you? It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're so glad you're available to share your insights. So if we jump straight into it, AJ, this is a pulsing industry. Everyone wants to be bigger and better at this time that's gotten so competitive after the pandemic era. How does decades of clinical and scientific research help in promoting employee engagement through Blossom.team?
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of activity happening now in the space, and the key differentiator for Blossom and why the science is so impactful is we're doing something completely different than everyone else. Other coaching solutions, they essentially take a coach and an individual, they put them in a room together or a virtual room together, and they kind of just leave it from there. We believe in taking it one step further. So these advances across professional development sciences, from IO psychology to positive psychology, they have proven methods, interventions, and exercises that can really help somebody improve being a better leader, dealing with conflict, dealing with stress, becoming more productive. So we inject those techniques, those approaches into how the coaching actually happens with Blossom. So from when you join the platform to the type of coach that you get matched with to the type of resources that that coach will encourage you to engage with in between sessions, all of that is powered by these decades of science, and it makes all the difference. We let you actually track and measure your progress over time, and we empower chief people officers with those same statistics and insights so that they can watch their team scale and accelerate that progress even further.
I'm so excited about the new era of this behavioral economics, because I think after the GFC, one of the biggest things that changed in business was employee engagement and people wanting to look after their staff a little bit better and not work in these silos by themselves in a cold, hard environment. So it sounds like you're on a great cause there. And behavioral economics is an interesting concept. Can you help us explain or understand it a little bit more? How does it apply to discretionary effort, please?
Absolutely. In its most simple form, behavioral design is all about inspiring an individual to take a specific action by making it attractive, by making the cue clear for when you should take a specific action, or there being clear rewards and incentives for taking those actions, and really aligning that so it's all very clear and mutually beneficial. So behavioral design is something that we really take into account in the design of Blossom. From everything that you do on the app has been behavioral design to promote those incentives. Blossom is very different even from a business model perspective. The reason we have over 85% engagement from all of our members is because we depend on that engagement, right? So many chief people officers have complained to us that they've invested in different tools for employee engagement that just don't get used by their staff. Think about all those pulse surveys that are kind of checking in with your employees, like how satisfied are you with work? Or these annual culture surveys with hundreds of questions. Employees are kind of groaning about whether or not they even want to participate in that. Blossom is very different. We succeed when our clients succeed, when employees are actively using Blossom, working with their coaches, and really thriving in the app. That's what makes the company succeed, and ultimately what makes our customers and our chief people officers succeed as well. So it's really all about aligning incentives in a mutually beneficial way.
That sounds great. I think using a life coach in the work environment could be so beneficial, just talking about what you're doing with someone. Would love to hear more about that. Can you also tell us about how the app Blossom will be enhancing the workflow process in businesses?
Absolutely. And so our coaches are primarily executive coaches. So what that means is, just for a little bit of background, it's been very common for decades for CEOs and other C-suite executives to work with an executive coach to help them on a number of different topics, whether that's communication, work-life balance, and stress, just being a better leader, the more broadly leadership development. So executive coaching has been around. What's different is now we're democratizing that. Everyone, whether you're an individual contributor or a CEO, we believe should have access to that caliber of support. And it is incredibly helpful. Now, just to make that a little bit more real, or to give you an example, I'll tell you about my first time working with an executive coach, and something that's very common for our members today. It's very common after you're promoted, think about sometime you've been promoted to a new role. So for me, it was the first time I went from being an individual contributor to an engagement manager at McKinsey, where I began my career. There was a huge sense of imposter syndrome that I felt that many people are facing today, especially these days, post-pandemic. And working with an executive coach really fundamentally taught me how to build confidence in my own leadership approach, how to deal with this new responsibility that I now had to face, which was leading a team of internal folks, leading teams of clients, becoming more comfortable with that, learning how to recalibrate some of these practices that I had once done as an individual contributor and kind of repurpose those strengths now as a team leader. So that's a very, very common type of engagement that an executive coach could really, really help you with. And things could also be more tactical. We have tons of members that are working with their coaches on very tactical topics around productivity. So we have so many productivity coaches that are really experts in different techniques around how to be most productive, so that you can make the most out of your workday and have enough time to recharge and do the things that bring you joy outside of work as well.
That's so true about what you say about the imposter appropriating, because it seems like the outside's all, mechanically working, but what's really going on the inside? Do you really understand this jargon you're throwing around? That's so cool that you found a way to actually dig deep into what a person can truly offer organically. So how does AI analytics come into this and alleviate cognitive bias to improve employee performance? Do you have any insights to share on that?
Absolutely. So AI and analytics is really the next level of opportunity when we think about people strategy and talent development today. So what Blossom does with our analytics is we take a look at what's happening with different exercises you're completing, and we give you the ability to measure your progress on these goals. So let's take an example of stress and burnout. With different exercises that you're completing in the Blossom application, one example is a daily reflection. There's so much evidence that shows doing a daily practice of mindfulness, doing some self-reflection is a fundamental way to improve your self-awareness and to gain learned optimism. So gain a positive outlook on your day, celebrate your victories, whether they're big or small, and also take negative events and be able to reframe them into a learning or something more positive instead. So these types of reflections, we have advanced analytics that can aggregate all of these different types of submissions, statistics, and show you a consistent view of how you've been progressing over time. And we can also aggregate specific patterns. So think about, these are the types of things associated when you're really thriving, when you're at your best, when things are awesome at work and you're most fulfilled. We'll show you the types of patterns associated with those days. And similarly, on the flip side of the coin, we can aggregate with our AI the types of things that most drain you or bring you down or kind of most linked to your burnout. So it kind of all comes together and gives you a very comprehensive view of what it takes for you to be at your best.
That sounds incredible. So if the app knows you've got a meeting or an event coming up that you're maybe not so good at, it'll start to prepare you to take on that challenge. That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so cool.
There's really a ton of impact that the app can bring in so many ways. One thing I enjoy doing also is kind of looking back at, some of these historical exercises that I've completed over time and really just seeing how much things have changed. We're in an age now where, especially when it comes to people development and professional growth, it's not enough just to have that kind of temporary qualitative feeling of improvement, but being actually able to see that statistically and quantitatively makes a world of difference.
Wow, super cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights. We're almost reaching the end of the conversation now. And well, mentorship and having executive coaches has been somewhat of a privilege. You have to reach a certain level of career progression before you have access to these type of people to be endowed by their knowledge and experience. So you're offering this through your app from an early stage for people who are, engaging with your tech. How do coaches significantly impact better upward progression in results-driven employees, please?
Absolutely, that's a great question. I'll start by just saying there's a reason why it's so common with executives. It's been proven to help somebody become a better leader when they're working with somebody who has the expertise, the professional background of facing these challenges in their own backgrounds. Professional coaches go through so much, robust certifications to learn those skills. They have hundreds, in many cases, thousands of hours of working with other executives across so many both common and unique workplace challenges. So being able to have a partner like that in your corner who can help guide you, help you think through solving different problems, being more inspiring to your team members. There's a reason why it's been so common. The biggest constraint for why it hasn't really permeated to other levels of the organization has been mostly a matter of cost. In the US, the average cost of an executive coach is $500 per hour. So it's extremely, extremely expensive. And you can imagine why not every new joiner or individual contributor has been able to afford it. But with a platform like Blossom, by us kind of automating so many of the stages of that coaching engagement, we're able to bring on these fantastic coaches and let them actually focus on just coaching and the types of expenses that they would normally spend on marketing, operations, administration, all of those types of things that usually contribute to inflating that fee, reaching that $500 per hour. We automate that. So we're able to make it much more accessible to individuals, and we're able to, help coaches find fantastic new clients without putting in that effort themselves.
That sounds great, AJ. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. Definitely inspiring, and best of luck with Blossom.team.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Well, if you just joined us, we had a very interesting discussion with AJ Alkasmi. He's the co-founder and COO, at Blossom app. If you missed any part of that chat, please watch it on Kalkine Media's YouTube channel and keep watching for more of these live expert talks and market insights. Till the next episode, stay apprised and invest wise.